But for me, well, I don't drink much tea. My wife does. And when I make tea, I make weed stem tea, like the stem of my pot. It's there's no effect to it. It's just a nice taste.
Nice. Yeah. Nice.
Everyone has a preference. Pardon me?
And your Star Wars t-shirt, is that what you're wearing today? Nice.
I wear a piece of Star Wars clothing every day.
Do you really?
Oh, cool.
Yeah. That's just everyone has a hobby, and that's my hobby.
Love it.
That's like us in yellow. We wear yellow. Our company is called Yellow Tuxedo, and people are continuously gobsmacked when we turn up wearing yellow with yellow watches and yellow phones and everything else. They're like, "Oh, you really like yellow, do you?" And we're like, "Yeah. Why do you think our company is called Yellow Tuxedo?"
It's a bit self-perpetuating because you get stuff for branding and you get stuff for a photo or you get stuff for a video, and then you realise that when you're starting to do the laundry that you actually have a whole yellow wash.
But it's a bit like your Star Wars in its own way. It's kind of become a hobby, the color yellow for us. So
yeah, well, it works for you. So and what is that background there? Is that like supposed to be stars or is that glitter?
No, this is glitter. So we have a membership, an online membership called the Digital Circus, which helps small businesses work out how to get better online, how to position themselves. But in terms of the circus kind of theme of it, it's about standing out from the crowd, being the ringmaster of your own circus, that kind of stuff. So it's a bit jazzy in the background in terms of like
just to be different. And there's this big thing, isn't there? You know, with I don't want to mention COVID, but I've got to kind of I'm not going to talk about it. I'm using it to reference it, where so much has moved online or continued online, but you still want to try and do whatever you can to make it a bit more fun. Like genuinely, if it's not fun, we're not interested in doing it. And that's why recording a random podcast with someone from Toronto called Mike, that just fits into our "this is fun" banner. So we're like, absolutely, we don't care what the ROI is. We're not interested because this is fun, because that's why we want to do it. And that's the same why we have a glittery backdrop and the branding.
Plus, our office is really messy right now.
I did like that too. I noticed it wasn't real when I was building up to asking.
I thought you were just really intellectual.
No, I was using a green screen for the longest time, but then behind it was just like a black cloth.
Mm.
And I'm like, the black cloth is kind of boring, and the green screen, I find that sometimes the green screen will stutter my machine. So I just went and picked this up off Amazon for $25, and I think it looks, well, it doesn't really look real, not with the shading, because you can see there's a light on my head here, and then there's a shadow back there.
I had to look at it twice before deciding. I was kind of here going, I think so. But and funny you say $25 on that. We have a £18 equivalent off Amazon, but we did on Streamyard. That's where our love came from. A simulcast called the Yellow Magic Hour, and we had guests and we had magicians and everything else. But likewise, we just wanted a sparkly back, not this one. So we bought another sparkly backdrop because it's so simple. Why would you not do it? You know. So
God bless Amazon.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, actually, my wife just bought another one because I have to. I usually the Santa Claus at my kid's school, and then this year, since there's the COVID stuff, we'll be doing a virtual story time, and I'm just going to read them a story. So she bought one that looks like a fireplace, and
brilliant, love that.
We'll see what happens with it. Now I don't know where this is going to go because I have 3 YouTube channels. First off, and the podcast, and the one YouTube channel tie in, and it's about podcasts and audiobooks. And that's how I found you, because I thought, well, I'm going to go Streamyard just because it's easier. Well, apparently it just seems to be the best one out there. Then I have my own blogging channel and a tech channel. So how do you guys, now you use YouTube as a primary tool, or what is your primary tool for acquiring new clients, for example?
You go.
So Instagram's probably how we currently acquire the most clients, actually. We've and we're not huge on it. We've only got about 1,000 followers, but we reckon 80% of our sales come from Instagram. YouTube for us is kind of, we're still quite small. What do we got? 400 odd subscribers or something like that. But it's things like this happen on our channel, and that for us is enough for the moment. So YouTube's almost a medium. It's a qualifier. It validates what we're talking about, because we talk about, we're digital visibility specialists. We show small businesses how to kind of unpick the web to kind of grow their business online. And YouTube's just a big part of that. And
what we love about YouTube, and
we love YouTube.
We love about YouTube is the fact that we talk about with our clients, you know, they all said that their ideal client doesn't sit on YouTube. Why should they be, excuse me, why should they be using YouTube for it? And we're like, well, yes, you know, in terms of optimized content, YouTube's a brilliant platform. Number one, video is king. Number two, it's a great place to host your content if you don't want to be sort of chuck it up on your website. But three, we work a lot in terms of the Google space and owning page one of Google. And we have a couple of channels ourselves as well. And one of our videos does really, really well on Google. So even if your clients aren't on YouTube, they are sure as hell going to be on Google. So therefore, if you can get your videos ranking in the right way with the right keywords and optimizing them properly, it can work for you on any platform. So we show our clients how to leverage YouTube, how to use it properly, but also how to use that content across every other platform that they want to be on. And
interestingly, the video you watched, the reason, other than we love YouTube and Streamyard, and we genuinely do, and we want to help people, you know, it's built into what we do. The other reason we did it is because we knew it would rank okay on Google. And actually 50% of our external traffic for that video comes just from that video appearing on Google. And that's what then we talk to our clients about, you know, making life simple, a bit of content and spreading it as far and wide as possible. So.
Oh, for sure. Like, I love YouTube too. I'm going to switch screens here just for a second. Yeah. But the thing with YouTube, I'm going to switch into my one account. I wonder if I can show it. I love YouTube. And the thing is, like, obviously I have enough that I get paid from it.
Yeah.
Yes, I saw that 4,500 subscribers and I think you said in your email 3 million views or something.
Oh yeah, it's a stupid amount. Let me see if I can share it here. Screen sharing, share screen. I
have to say, we are gassing away. We really need to be done by 3. We're okay for a couple.
Okay, well, I'll get rid of them. But yeah, YouTube.
We're okay. Why that? You sort that out. That's
it's fine. Just once you look at the searches, like you're saying, the external searches. I have 3.5 million views and 5,000 and something subs, and it's always certain videos that seem to pick those up. And I tell businesses all the time to go out there and go on YouTube and just try and make like a video a week, even saying, you know, here's the owner saying this is what we have for sale, or then maybe focus on more engaging customers. Because some businesses out there that I follow, like I'll follow the business. And just because it's really engaging, it's almost like watching Coronation Street, but just from Norris's view from this cabin or whatever that store is he has.
I think I don't know. We don't watch it. I think it is the cabin, but I don't.
Yeah. Okay, I'm a big Coronation Street fan.
We're not from Britain going, yeah, Coronation.
Mike, you're so right. You know, and we are continually gobsmacked when businesses aren't doing it, and that's why we started Yellow Tuxedo to help other businesses. Really.
Okay, and now I'm going to ask you a bit of a question. I'm going to use myself here. Do you listen to podcasts for businesses? Like, do you listen to ones that are business-related podcasts? I'm just curious, what do you listen to?
Who do I listen to? I've been listening to most. So we've got, there's a guy called Al Fawcett who does Infinite Pi Thinking, has some very good guests. Like he had one of the founders of Reebok on his podcast, the top award-winning manager in the UK, or sort of business manager in the UK. Who else? An ex-Marine who'd come up with this way of developing people. So we have some really good guests. I'm trying to think of the rabbi's name from New York who had as a guest.
I can't remember.
But Infinite Pi Thinking, Al Fawcett, or listen to that one. We got a friend who does one, Ricky Lock, Unlocked. We can't not mention our mate Ricky. Mm-hmm. So he was part of a project of ours, and he was doing a podcast, and so quite listening to him.
We've listened to this podcast. I like listening to non-businesses. I just find it an easier sort of medium to sort of get. We have 3 children at home, so by the time we've sat down, we never get. So actually, when Anne and I are both doing our driving, and by the time we put the podcast on in the car and just listen to it while we're trying to get from A to B. So I do like listening to business podcasts, but I do. I like listening to all mediums. It doesn't always have to be with a business learning from it. I just love hearing people's stories about what they're up to and how they've done things differently.
Well, I think that the internet's like the new printing press, and more people are going to start going on there to publish their own business or their own stories, and it's going to be in the form. When you say medium, it's going to be video and it's going to be audio.
Yeah,
you know, it's the blog is still there, but everyone's going to be focusing on audio articles and like even newspapers, I think are going to start switching more to oral stories, right?
Yeah, we've got there's a business we know, and they do their newsletter, and the newsletter comes out on email, and in it is a video at the bottom, and they then do a podcast of the newsletter, and that's their bi-weekly podcast. It's 10 minutes long, the length of the newsletter, and you can see the podcast getting more listens than the newsletter getting reads, you know, and I think it's a very clever way to create content. You create 3 lots of content for one piece, but B, you can start to see where the people are actually consuming it, and they are moving over to the video and the audio rather than
because people do consume in different ways, don't they? And we always say this, that you can't pigeonhole everyone saying that this generation is now just listening to podcasts. Some people would prefer to be audio, some people like to be more visual, and some people like to read it in print. So by his example, he's coming up with one concept, but he's delivering that same concept in 3 very different ways so that everyone can get to enjoy it all at once.
Yes.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense too. Okay, well, I just had that basic question because that's just kind of a little blurb I'm going to cut out and put into this. But now, do you have any tips on how to use StreamYard? Like I said, I just started using this for the podcast and recording. So when I do it, I record the audio, like I'm recording this conversation. Yeah. I'm going to take the audio and separate that because you can download the audio and you can download both. And then I rip apart the audio for the podcast, and the video I just kind of put up on YouTube as well. But I'm still learning. For example, I don't know where to look. Do I look at the camera or do I look at you? That's a problem.
We had to find that.
Yeah, I think you look at the camera where possible. I mean, we're looking at you as well. But then isn't that, it depends who you're engaging with. And I don't mean that as the kind of literal as that thing. So if people are listening to us talk, then they probably okay with us looking at each other. But if we're delivering something to them, then we should be looking at the camera and going, yeah, how are you getting on? This is amazing, isn't it? So I think it depends on the style of what you're doing. As for hints and tips, one of the reasons we did our video on StreamYard and we use it is because it is so simple. It's so simple, but it's the kind of, it's not what you're not doing with it, Mike, because but it's what you can do it with it. And when we're talking with our clients and businesses and friends, there's almost a hierarchy of content, which we've just been discussing in a roundabout way. And at the very top is live. And that's what StreamYard allows you to do. So when you're thinking about, a podcast, so let's say your podcast, the Odd Pod, right? Mm-hmm. Hopefully the number one reason you create this podcast is for fun, right? Hopefully that's the number one reason.
100%.
And number 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 could be engaging with people, wanting to educate, wanting to teach. If it's for a business, there would be something about revenue somewhere down the line, depending on how profit driven you were, but it would always be there. If you go live, everything is amplified. Okay. So StreamYard would allow you to record this live right now to Facebook, Periscope, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitch, wherever you want to go. And the more, the merrier. Then once you stop that, so you've gone live, you've engaged with everyone, we've had a fab conversation, authenticity's through the roof because it's live, and, chat, you can bring chat comments in and it's fab, and you can brand it up and it looks brilliant. Once you finish the live, then it's what happens next. So you've already created all of that content in one easy back. This is what we get very excited by this. I get very excited by this. And then exactly as you said, then you can download the video and you can download the audio. You can create a podcast. You can put the video into Instagram TV if you want. You can create snippets and micro content. You can embed bits and bobs in blogs, put it on Pinterest. And all of a sudden, your fun is still happening because part of content creating fun is sharing it. The growth, the engagement, the potential revenue, if it's for revenue purposes, all increases, all amplifies just by going live once. So there's no hints and tips on StreamYard. It's what can you do with StreamYard for us? And that's why we get excited by it, what it can do for a brand and or an individual.
I always like the multi-camera shots as well.
I know it is. We see people have put their Zoom into it as a separate screen, and we're in a StreamYard forum, and they are updating it all the time. It's just getting better and better and better, and I think it's already pretty good as a kind of easy use platform.
I think that's for me is it's how user friendly it is. We've just introduced a few of our clients to using it just this week actually, and they're both the two we've been talking to are complete technophobes, and that they're not really favorable. And actually, it's not idiot proof, but you can get started fairly.
Well,
quickly.
it is. There's one big button that says go live.
Go live, and that's it, or press record. And actually, the intricacies of what's set up in terms of your framings you've got, who's that comes with practice, because that's aesthetics.
Yeah, that I've learned, because if I do this, I end up cutting both of you out.
And that's it. And then you work out in terms of overlays for graphics and stuff. As you start putting fancier sort of titles on things, you get to know the framing a lot easier. But it's for us, with anyone, it's just getting
yeah. And that's really good, because of all the things you can do. You can have, now we're going to keep talking because Mike may have actually disappeared and not just removed himself from the screen, but you can have 10 guests in the green room, bring them all up, screen share, have up to 10 people, private chat, public chat, and lots of things going. I was back. I was worried for quite a while, Mike. I thought you had gone. So
oh, that's my pick my nose option.
No, I like it. You got to have one of them.
Yeah, it's like, I think I'm going to sneeze, or whatever it might be. So what exactly does the Yellow Tuxedo do then? You work with companies to improve their brands online? Is that your main business?
So we actually own a couple of businesses, and one of the things we learned early on with our other business is the fact that as a small business with a physical presence as well, in terms of having to show up online, is quite a scary beast if that's not your bag and that's not something you're familiar with. And we learned very quickly about marketing our business in the online space. We escalated it really, really quickly with our kind of skill set. And it wasn't until a few years down the line that we were helping other businesses sort of with what they're doing, going, how do you do this, Emily? How do you do this, Alan? I just don't understand what you're doing in terms of showing up online. I don't have that skill set. I don't know what to do, what to start. A lot of businesses have this whole, they know they need to show up online. They know they have to have a strategy, and everyone talks about the strategy. And there are lots of coaches and online people at the moment who are these strategists who go, you need to do this in terms of engagement. You need to be more engaged. You need to create amazing content, which is all well and good. But actually, sometimes small businesses, what they need is the how. How do I bloody well do that? We talk about search engine optimization, SEO. How do I find keywords, and where do I place them on my website? I just don't know how to do that. So we take small businesses by the hand and we show them, okay, so you want to be on YouTube, fantastic. Do you know how to get started? Do you know how to start a channel? Do you know how to optimize that channel? When you put up your videos, do you know how to get the descriptions and the tags? All of that, we give like the detail of, this is how you do that. And that goes across anything from SEO straight through to any social media platforms, wherever you want to be and where you want to show up, doing it in the right way.
That's good to know. And obviously your business is international, because you can just do it through this format, for example. But what kind of businesses do you mainly target? Are you targeting marketing businesses, or you're talking retail, or? One of
the biggest things, we hate being in that digital marketing field. We don't like the label of digital marketing, because it's so fluffy.
And we reckon there are better marketeers than us. Yeah. So we're more like creative, practical people.
Yeah, enablers. We're enablers. But we love. So we have a program that we work on in UK called the Digital Circus, which we mentioned before this.
It's our membership.
It's our membership, and in that, what we love about it is it's so diverse. We have creative industries in there. We have dietitians. We have physiotherapists. We have furniture makers. We have wedding planners. There's such a diverse community there, because ultimately, regardless of what your industry is, you still need to be able to get online. So you will have the same problems regardless of what your industry. So if you want to get your website optimized, that's the same issue. If you're a physio or you're a wedding planner, people still need to know that practical how.
As I say, and we talked about, in this chat here about printed medium slowly dying or becoming minimal, whatever wording you want to use. And that's what we find. There's still this, it's weird, isn't it? How the online world's been around for, hold on, how old am I? 20 odd years or something. Online world's been around.
You're not 20 years old.
No, but I was late teens when it did come around.
Look at these hair.
Yeah. I got my own flash, and it's been around for a while, but there's still this kind of, I put an advert in a newspaper. What's the ROI on this? It's £350 for a page ad. What am I getting from that? And we're like, Are you kidding us? We could make your total marketing spend less than £350 if we show you how to use the online world properly. And you'll probably get more return from doing that than putting it in a paper in your local rag.
One of the biggest things we have is that when we get a lot of inquiries coming through and can you help me with Google ads? Can you help me with Facebook ads? And we're like, nope, we don't want to. And we have never, ever, ever, ever paid for an advert ever in Yellow Tuxedo, which is, it's not saying it's wrong to do that, but in terms of what you have the ability to do with free tools at your fingertips, if you leverage it in the right way, then you never have to pay for advertising, because you're engaging with your audience with everything that's out there in completely free. And again, you can get started today with the fact that you have a smartphone or a laptop or whatever. And
that's it. When we look at businesses, brands, celebrities, that's what they are doing. And whether you think about someone like Apple, or you think about, I'm trying to think, do you know Joe Wicks, the body coach, as he made it to the States?
So no, not with this body. I don't need that kind of
So he's basically a personal trainer who got online about 5 years ago and has done very well for it. And when lockdown hit back in March, did PE for the nation. And in 3 weeks, something like 30 million people had watched him doing PE for everyone. And the point being is that we're connecting with these big business brands like Apple and these individuals like Joe Wicks via content, via online, via, with Apple, we're following their story as they release new products, and we get caught up in what their own value and culture. That's what we do. And people, same with the individuals, and it doesn't matter how big or small they are, that's what we do. And it's just kind of taking people on that adventure online. So
yeah, it's funny. Actually, I have a Zoom call at noon with my employer, like my real job, and they want to talk about doing more online sales and stuff. And I've been preaching this for like 2 years about just how to make it happen. And I think today is finally the day when they're going to move forward and just let me just take the realm and go with it. So
amazing.
Yeah. Who knows? And then on Friday mornings, I watch a live event every morning on Facebook. It's just this couple, like you two, for example, who talk about what they do is they send it a request for like photos from the people that watch their page. And all they do is they show a slideshow of these photos, and it's live every Friday morning, and they'll get like 300 or 400 people watching this.
Yeah.
I love
just to see if their picture pops up. And they got sponsors and everything.
That is very clever, isn't it? It may pop up, so send it in.
And it doesn't have to be wish or wow. It could be so simple, but it's about taking and rolling it. It doesn't have to be all polished and shiny all the time, but getting out and getting your face on camera and delivering that consistently is so much more important than making sure it's the most beautiful backdrop and all shiny and lovely. It doesn't have to be that. It's just getting out there and talking to your audience, because people are so much more forgiving, especially this year with a lot of businesses now moving onto that online space. We're more forgiving of the fact that it's not all shiny and amazing and polished. We just want to get to know these businesses. We want to know what they can deliver, what their product is, and how they can help. You want to
trust them. We're in a world like the Amazon review. We mentioned Amazon earlier. The Amazon review. We look at Amazon reviews. We ignore everything, but we like to have a look because you want to know what you're spending your money on is right. And actually, stuff like this allows you to check with the person you're buying into that and that's not just financially, that's kind of morally and ethically as well. It allows you to check that they're the right people to buy into just by doing video content, live streaming, podcasting, and everything. So, yes.
I'm going to take a wild stab here, but you almost remind me of like a business therapist. So someone that a business owner will talk to every week and just dump out all their problems, and you're going to have not all the solutions, but you'll be able to.
A lot of our members may agree with you.
We recently did some work on our culture and our values for the business, and one of the biggest things that came out of our study was the fact that we are more like business cheerleaders. Which I quite like. I haven't got any pom-poms, but but in terms of we like hearing what people got going on. We love to hear what their blockers are, and then we always like to find those kind of solutions and talk things through. And sometimes it is just that, it's just having a chat and talking through to other people who are in similar situations. Like I said earlier, we all have the same kind of main blockers and issues going on, and actually sometimes it's just having a bit of a conversation and having someone like myself or Alan there to go, hey, it's fine, let's work on this next.
Keep going. You're doing all right.
Yeah, because it's hard.
I won't hold up your time because you said you had to be somewhere. Well, for me, it's coming up on 10. What time is it there? It's
2:53.
We have 7 minutes.
We've got 7 minutes. I'm happy chatting if you want to, or quite happy.
Well, my thing is when I do the podcast, I always like to ask people what kind of gear they're using too, like what kind of microphone and what are you editing in, and I'm just curious, what are you using yourself?
So we've got a 2015 MacBook Pro with inbuilt webcam because
it's so
old. But a bit like you,
That's
if we
what I'm
plug
using.
anything externally and it falls over, so we've just had to stick to the normal webcam. We've got in by USB, we've got a Rode Video Mic NTG, which was an amazing purchase.
Best thing we bought this year.
And and this is where Mike tells us the sound is rubbish. But we've had compliments on our sound for some of our videos, so we're very pleased with that, and highly recommend. We had like a £30 Rode external mic, and after using that, and it was fine actually, it's much better than but after about a year, 18 months of using that, I just started noticing that actually the sound wasn't, as I got used to it and my knowledge learned, I got used to thinking, well, actually, this isn't that good. So when it came to the next one, we were like, do you know what? I want to make a bigger leap. I want to get a great microphone.
And then the majority of our stuff, if I'm really honest,
everything we film other than this stuff is on an iPhone XR.
We've had SLRs, we've had all the posh gear and stuff, and actually because we're so on the fly, and because also we show our clients how to just get started, and you don't need to have all the fancy stuff. Quite a lot of our stuff's quite raw for that exact reason, because if we start doing beautifully polished productions all the time, it puts us far apart from the people we're teaching to start with an iPhone. So we do a lot of our stuff on the iPhone because to be honest, the quality is just as good as anything else.
It is. And editing, we use Final Cut Pro, but to be honest, quite happy with iMovie. You've watched our video, Mike. It's not rocket science editing. Quite happy with iMovie. I fell into Final Cut Pro, if I'm honest, and I liked a couple of the little things it did that iMovie didn't, so stayed there. But yeah, you've watched it. It's iMovie stuff, and I think for us that's such a key thing. This is not complicated. Yes, you may not currently know how to do it, but this is not complicated. And you talked about that with Streamyard. I'm going to download the audio. Yeah, you sent us a link. Streamyard is, you send someone a link, they appear on your screen, you press record, you download the audio, you upload it to SoundCloud, whatever, you've got a podcast. It's so simple. More people need to be doing it. And I reckon 2021 is going to be the year of all of this. We're calling it.
Yeah, we have the exact same setup. I have a 2015 MacBook Pro that I'm using now for the camera, a USB microphone, like a Blue Yeti, and 90% of my shots are on my cell phone. I have a DSLR, but I don't like how it's always hunting because it's always trying to find your face, and so it's in and out of focus. It's in and out of focus all the time. Yeah. So I'll just use it for just the thumbnail shots, so it does a nice depth of focus. But 90% of my stuff is on here. Then I airdrop it to my MacBook, and then I edit it in Final Cut Pro.
Yeah.
We're like the same.
We were meant to meet each other, Mike. I can feel that. I can absolutely feel that.
Well, let's chat again then. Like, we'll end it now and we'll chat again, and then I'll piece together all this for a podcast later or something. And then if you ever want to, well, who knows? I'll see if I can send you business as well too. Because like I said, I hate being the therapist for all my business friends. I'd rather send them to some professionals and.
Yeah, please do.
Stay out of it.
You know what we could do, and now this is slightly presumptuous of us, but when you're ready to launch your podcast or the video from our chat, we could go live to introduce it and then share it through the live streaming or something.
Oh, that'd be fun. All right, yeah.
Well, we could do it. We could host it, and you could come on. Just thinking of different things, actually, just to make it a bit more fun. Exactly that. So
yeah, because this is like the 5th or 6th time I've used StreamYard, and I've only put up one podcast so far, so
yeah.
Well, one of these interviews. I really like it. I would use this for everything from now on in.
Yeah. Only tip is, I have a genuine tip. If you go to the 3 dots by our picture, you can edit our audio levels.
Oh yeah, edit mic settings.
Yeah.
Look at that.
And I know they've got more mic settings coming, because in the forum, there's a StreamYard group on Facebook that's owned by StreamYard, and they take feedback in it and everything else. And there's such noise about the microphone settings that they put that setting in very quickly. But they're talking about, the problem is it's that line between it being as easy as this and complicated. So they're trying to balance that, but they are talking about putting a few more settings in and everything else. So
yeah, I should almost try to get my wife on this. She uses Zoom for her work. She works at a university, and I should almost get them to use this because it's so much easier than Zoom, because Zoom is some of those people, well, it requires the hardware on your own machine to render the green screen in the background, for instance. And a lot of these people are running older machines, and it literally looks like they're in a swimming pool.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just horrible.
No,
anyway, I'll let you run. I appreciate your time. Let's talk again, though. We'll
I'd love to. Absolutely love to. It was nice to meet you.
Yeah, I'll fly to England. I'm willing to go.
You don't want to be here right now.
We've got a 7, a 5, and a 3-year-old, Mike.
Not only that, we've got a Boris Johnson.
Well, yeah, they don't have. No, we shouldn't get into don't get into politics or COVID-19.
No one needs to get into it right now.
Yeah.
All right, well, take care. Enjoy your day, and we'll chat again.
Thanks. Yeah, bye.
Bye.